Excellent. So, we're back now for a brand new series. This is going to be a monthly series. It's a brand new endurance racing league, hosted by Brother Ops, and well, yeah, it's a Brother Ops league now. So here's what we've got in store for you. It's a little bit different to a conventional league we've been running for the past few months and the past year. We've got 4 different classes racing against each other this time, and featuring the safety car, and an hour 20-minute race, which is going to be pretty spectacular. And yeah, a 45-minute qualifying session. So, I suppose just pick up your favorite brand of popcorn. I prefer Manhattan, and let's get to it. GT3s are racing out of the pit lane. So, to my understanding, the stream has not been started at practice. So let me give you the rundown of the ones to watch here. I guess a little bit of a preview during qualifying. So first up in the P1 category, these are our LMP1 cars. These are going to be the fastest cars on track. They have high downforce, high top speed, low drag. Well, basically everything, the closest you can get to an F1 car without going open wheel. They're pretty fast machinery, and it takes fast drivers to keep them on the road. So we've got 2 main P1s, as we could have seen from practice, and from that practice timetable. Christian Kubovic and Ethan Mottram, in particular. Mottram in the Audi in the number 1 car, and Christian Kubovic in the DMD V12 LMP1. We'll have a look to see how they fare against each other. This is going to be a pair of rivals. Usually someone like Henrik Andreasen usually just steps in and runs away with it, but not this time. We got ourselves a fight on our hands tonight, or so I think. No, I won't be chatting all the time during the qualifying session. A lot of it's just waiting until like a leaderboard shows up with people setting times. Fastest people in each class are going to be like starting in their respective positions. So if someone starts third, someone gets the third fastest time, they start in 3rd place, for example. Someone gets the fastest time, they're on pole position, 1st place. So while everyone starts their flying laps, their first flying lap of the session, let's get acquainted with the 4 car classes. I've already told you about P1. Let's talk to you about the most popular class, most popular of them all. It's going to be GTR3, or GT3 as you might know in real life. These are sports cars taken off of the road and basically pimped out above their normal spec and basically bred for endurance racing. Like they're going to be the slowest cars on track, but they are no slouch to drive. They're pretty fast actually, compared to some of the other cars we've seen on these races so far. And it's pretty popular. A lot of different variety. Grand touring cars, everyone. And there's a second type of GT in these races. So you've got GTE. Now those are basically faster GT3s without ABS, faster engines, lighter weight, and just like far more adjustable setup. So the what you'd call the pro GT drivers will be preferring those over the bog standard GT3s. So the 4th and final car class is going to be P2, we're going to call it, because it's a mishmash of like the old spec Daytona prototypes and LMP2 cars and radicals. So they're high downforce relatively, well, more than GT3's high top speed, but they're not just not as quick a few seconds off the pace of an LMP1 car. So, yeah, we've got a few times on the board here so far. Here you could touch Phil in the number... I can't see a number on that Daytona prototype. It's a number 90 blue Daytona prototype, takes pole position for her class. Andy Darnell's on the lap. Purple in sector 2, might be having a look in the 10 car. Black and orange 10 car. We'll have a look to see like where he stacks up. But in the meantime, let's have a look where some of the GTs are. So David Koulas in the Mercedes GT3 is first in class and third overall. Arthur Gras is in the BMW M6 fourth overall, second in class. Timo Reiter, Lester Santan's first in class at the minute because he's GTE. Well, I guess I'll shut my mouth for a second because there's tons of new times coming in, and while I might be saying will not be relevant at whatsoever. So Andy Darnell now sits at the top of the table, and it looks like he's about to set another fastest lap. Another thing I should mention is that there's double fuel consumption and double tire wear. So obviously, because this is qualifying, everyone's going to be running on soft tires and low fuel, but it's not going to be like that whatsoever. Like the fast tires you see, they're soft tires, and they don't have enough grip to last. They're grippy when you start using them, but they degrade very quickly. Now to sort that, there's two different types of tires you can use that last longer, but at the expense of grip. Because of double tire deg, there's going to be like anyone using softs is a death sentence on this rule set basically. So you're not going to see like these quality times in the race. Tires just don't last long enough to get any benefit out of it. And that's where a lot of the passing happens in endurance racing as well. Like pit strategy is very important, because you can, like if you come in, I'm trying to figure out a way to put this. Say like you can jump people in the pits is the bottom line of it, if you're like big brain. So like usually real drivers in real life would have their own strategists, but the sim racers here, they don't need no strategist. They do all of the maths themselves, or at least I did my maths before I decided to do commentator. So some people might be eyeballing the pit stop, some people might have calculated this. So yeah, this is where you can gain lots of time in the pits. You have to figure out where you can gain and lose time, and what tire suits what condition. So we have our first P1 time. Christian Kubovic sets the benchmark. I can't even words right now. A benchmark of 131.95. 94, sorry. So that's the only P1 time at the minute. There's another R18 on the board, Ethan Mottram. He has yet to set a lap. He's probably waiting for the traffic to cool down. But for now, Kubovic is on pole, 36 minutes to go. Volinets takes pole position on P2 over Andy Darnell. He goes around a second and a half quicker than Andy. Adrian Huber in a Radical number 8 is on a lap right now from Canada. Well, he's about to finish. Let's see where this puts him on the pecking order. Andy Foster has managed to put it on P5 overall, P4 in his class. Like earlier there was a bit of a kerfuffle with a GTE, where GTE managed to go faster than Andy Foster in the P2, which shouldn't really happen, by the way. P2 should be faster. But you get the idea. He's picked up his act, and now he's fighting in his own class rather than in another class, which is a good sign. He's learning. Ethan Mottram set his first time of the day, 4/10 off of Kupovic. Still got over half an hour to go here, so anything can happen. I'm gonna fall silent for a bit until some more lap times fall into the leaderboards, and I'll keep you updated. We've got just over 31 minutes to go. So here's how it looks like for now. Kupovic remains at the top of the table with 31.8. Mottram is around 3.5 tenths behind, but it isn't over yet. Potasisoglu in the third P1 is in P3. Around 3.5 seconds off of Mottram, which is almost 4 seconds off of the leader in P1. So that's the situation for P1s at the minute. Meanwhile, in P2, Andy Darnell's in the number 10 Chevy has retained his P1 in class, ahead of Mikola Volinets and Yuri Kratochvil. Kratochvil used to be on pole, but now she's P3 in class. Volinets P2 in class. Volinets in the DMD, V6 turbo car, and Kratochvil in the Daytona Chevy. Andy Foster's P4 in class in P2. And he's, well, not very fast at all. In P8 overall, we have first in class from GT3, David Kulas from Poland. He's in P1 for all GTs, even the GTEs. Lefters in town for GTE can't even catch this bog standard GT3. So it's a little bit of a conundrum. Like, just all it takes is a little bit of skill, and a better driver can now outperform a better car. You can see it in the leaderboards. Arthur Graw is in third in class, driving the M6. Vic Vega P4, Vlad P5. Previous three mentioned are all driving M6s, by the way. The M6 is pretty popular. So is the Ferrari, as whatchamacallit, Justin Winterbowl is 13th overall. Camano 14th overall. They're both driving Ferraris. And 15th overall, Timo Reiter in the Porsche. 16th overall, Dave Ziska in the M6. And there's a bunch of other people. We've got Luis Lima in the R8, Arshan in the M6, Adrian Huber, who's driving he's actually a P2 driver. He hasn't set a very good lap yet. I believe he's being held up to traffic. He should be up there with the P2 guys in the Radical he's driving. And Hendrik Andreasen is not, well, he hasn't chosen to go qualify at this time. Henrik Andreasen is the one to look for. He's, like, I'd bet money that Andreasen's gonna win in GTE. He's been absolutely killing it in the touring car series we've been doing. DTM Revival, the touring classics, he was pretty good. Like, any cars like GT or heavyweights at all, like sports cars, like, he's just absolutely insane at those. So unless he has like some accident, there's really no way I don't see him winning the race. The Porsche GTE. So Fotis Isoglu, yeah, he hasn't been. I haven't seen him in practice. The Greek driver is in the Mistral. I'm not sure what number that is, but it's a V8 P1 car. Motram's in the R18 Audi. Of course, that's a real car. That's with a diesel engine by Audi. It's one of the earlier generations of R18, like e-tron's the. It's not the one with the hybrid engine, but it's still rapid. And then there's the V12, which is in green, which Kubovic is driving on pole at the minute. Like, it's very quick on straights, but it can be tough to hustle around corners. Like, I've driven all these cars myself. I'm a pretty good driver myself. So that's my view on the prototypes. Ivan Lukic has now beaten a P2. Namely, they've shown a prototype of Kratochville and Andy Foster. Andy Foster's car as well, so he's gone faster than 2 P2s. Ivan Lukic in the GTE has just beaten 2 prototypes. I'm speechless. I have no idea how long that's been there, but I'm just speechless. It's going to be the same story with Henrik Andreasen. The number 911, fitting as he's driving a German 911. Well, all 911s are German. Just had one of my own Murrayisms. That's going to happen a lot. Bear with me. I'm a little bit tired. So 24 minutes to go. P1 times have not changed. Andy Darnell's back to being the fastest P2 on the board. Volnets is P2 in the P2 leaderboard. Henrik Andreasen 6th overall. Ivan Lukic. Oh, hang on. Henrik Andreasen is 6th overall. Ivan Lukic 7th overall, 2nd in class. Here Kratochville, Andy Foster, are 3rd and 4th in class. 8th and 9th overall. They have to pick up the pace if they want to beat the GTEs, which they should be beating. They need to make more use of the downforce they've got over the GTEs and power delivery. Too many assists these days. They slow you down. Well, anyway, in terms of normal GT3, David Koulas has been the fastest one all day. Just went first in class and just in that Mercedes and just staying there. Arthur Gras is P2 in class, as it looks like. Vic Vega 3rd, Vlad 4th, Winterball 5th, Camano 6th, Reiter 7th, Ziska 8th, and the last few aren't that important. Another thing I've just noticed now is that Huber hasn't improved his time. I struggle to believe that he's actually that slow. At that rate, he's going to be starting at the back of the grid if he doesn't go faster. And that radical is that Huber is driving. He's got the power and downforce and weight over the GT3s that are going faster. So, no idea what the holdup is. So throughout the stream and throughout the race, I'm going to be referring to some of the cars that they're by their numbers, like the important guys that you'd recognise. Namely, like Kibovich and Motram, like those two are going to have like a hell of a fight tonight, I predict. Motram is in the number 1 Audi car. And Christian Kibovich is... that's either a 7 or a number 1. So a pair of number 1 cars, I suppose. Battling out to see who's the real number 1, I suppose. So, yeah. Well, you can differentiate between Kibovich and Motram by... well, Kibovich is green, Motram's in an Audi. Know yourself. And that Andreasen guy, like I was telling you about, like he's lightning quick, so you can remember his name for when I tell him he's winning, with the number 911, or just 911. And Cool lost the fastest GT at the minute. He is running the number 14 car. It's almost a cyan color on his Mercedes car. And Adrian Huber, if he ever decides to, pick up the pace, he's in a black and green number 8 Radical. Yeah, that's the situation. 19 minutes to go. Almost race time for you buddies. So those who watch the stream, like, what do you do while you wait for the action to unfold? Because of course it's very delayed sometimes. Like, it gets really hot for a bit, really exciting, and then it cools down, gets hot again. What happens for you when you cool down? Like, just get a snack, maybe some popcorn, maybe a drink, maybe some Pepsi or something. If you're looking for a recommendation, I recommend, like, if your local shop sells it, Manhattan popcorn. Best brand I've ever tried. Worth the price. Well, I mean, I say best brand I've ever bought. Without going near microwave popcorn, that stuff's tops. But in terms of drinks, I'd recommend maybe, well, any soft drink really, or even an iced coffee if you've got the facilities to do that. It looks like Adrian Huber is finally picking up the pace. 2 green sectors, he's gonna cross the line. And a whopping 1 place. At least he's faster than someone. Let's see him put some more laps in, and let's see if he gets back to up to his P2 people. Like, just saying, for these endurance races, it's very important that you do a little bit of practice beforehand. I know we've got like 40-minute practice, 40-minute qualifying, but it's just not good. It's just not enough time. You need to do some proper number crunching, proper strategizing, proper track knowledge. Like, figuring it out as you go won't work in this series. You gotta do your homework. Adrian Huber is about to go fastest to get, like, almost faster than he was. Let's see how many places he jumps this time. He's finally getting into a groove. Let's see it happen. From P19. And he screwed it up on the final sector. He's going to have to try that again. But he's got it in him. Christian Kubovic is still trying to push for any fastest lap to keep Mottram at bay. Mottram hasn't found any more pace. But pace isn't going to be the main thing, it's going to be consistency. Who doesn't spin during the race? It's an hour and 20-minute long. So it's important to keep your head in the game and just trust your strategy. And main thing, don't spin. It's something to keep in mind is that lifting over a dodgy corner instead of like pushing as hard as you can to the limit. Like lifting at a dodgy corner is always faster than spinning. Like always keep that in mind. I learned to drive with that mentality, and like you'll find yourself lasting longer in races. Won't be necessarily as quick, but like you can guarantee that you'll finish the race. Michael Schumacher said something about it. First you have to finish. I think that's a quote from Fangio, I think. Or someone. A Formula 1 world champion said that. That's all I can remember. So Fotis Isoglu is getting a little bit faster. He went from 3 seconds, 4 seconds off to like 2.5. He's getting quicker. Maybe consistency will pull him through in the race. We'll see how it goes. Well, I'll give you another report, 10 minutes to go. Right now we've got 13.5 minutes to go left of qualifying. Anything can happen. Anyone can start pushing out of nowhere. We got 10 minutes to go of qualifying. Everything's starting to get heated now. So, let's start from P1's leaderboard, shall we? 4 different car classes and all that. There's 3 P1s in contention today for the win. Although it might be between 2 drivers in particular. Christian Kubovic at the top. Timothy Top in the DMD P20 with a 131.8. Ethan Mottram in the Audi R10 e-tron Quattro. An older spec, mind you, without the ERS and stuff like that to make it balanced. We've got, well, you can read 3.5 tenths off, but it's not that bad. He can bring that back with any amount of consistency. He'll be in it with a chance to beat Kubovic for the win. Fotis is a whole whopping 2.5 seconds off the pace. So something major would have to happen, I'd imagine, to the people and to both P1s in front for Fotis to have a go at the win. But I mean, isn't all about winning in your class. It's all about having fun at the end of the day. This is a light-hearted. This is at least supposed to be a light-hearted community that doesn't take much seriously, but we do have our moments. We like racing. But anyway, let's move on to the P2 category. Andy Darnell in the Daytona Chevy is in P4 overall, P1 in class. Mikolov Volinets in the DMD P2 is around half a second off, but not far behind Andy Darnell. It's going to keep him on his toes. And P6 is overall ahead of 2 other Daytona P2s as a pair of GTEs, like lightning quick. Henrik Andreasen, you might remember him for dominating in the GTs. He's in his Porsche GTE. He's managed to land it in P1 overall and P6. No, P6 overall, P1 in class. Ivan Lukic's behind him. Lukic's around, say, one and a bit seconds off the pace, off of Andreasen. But we'll see how they do on, well, hard tires. Kivik Katoshville in P3 for the P2s, Andy Foster is P4. David Koulas, he is GT3's pole position in the Mercedes. Left Tan in the Porsche's P2, Arthur Grau P3 and GT3, Vic Vega P4, Camano P5, Vlad P6, Ziska P7, Timo Reiter's P8, and earlier we were having a look at Adrian Huber, who's at the bog back of the grid, and like he starts dead last in his class, 20th overall in his Radical. He's been outclassed by the other drivers, as it looks like. The gap between the GTs are like there's going to be I predict there's going to be a few trains in relation to the GT3s, like the standard GT3s, mind you. I predict it's going to be a train of Kulvas, Lefteris, Gra, and maybe Vega. And then it's going to be another train of Camano, Vlad, Ziska, and Reiter. In terms of GTs, so that's going to be a little bit of heat for the hour and 20 minutes to come. Five minutes to go. I suggest getting. This is probably the bajillionth time I've said this by now, but get your snacks in order. I mean it. And maybe a friend. That'd be nice. Share this stream to their friend. And before we get underway, I'd love to kindly request to give the stream a like and leave a comment to what your or a timestamp of what your favorite moment in the stream was. I want to look into making a highlights reel of these streams when they're finished up. Don't have an awful lot of time, so but you know the way, it'll be a little bit easier to watch the highlights of a stream rather than, well, just sit through like above 2 hours worth of sim racing. But I mean, it's not a bad idea. You're not wasting your time by spending 2 hours here. It's just it might be a little bit. You might not have 2 hours to spend watching us. So I'll have a look into making highlight reels. Because an hour and 20 minutes in a race is a lot to take in. Like, it's a lot. It's the reason why I don't really watch the real life endurance. I'm a motorsport maniac as I am. I really enjoy watching the cars go by, but sometimes it's a little bit longer than I have time for. So yeah, highlights will be a good idea. If this stream gets 4 likes, I'll make a highlight stream or highlight reel. I promise it'll be maybe around. I aim for it to be around 5 minutes long, 10 max. So, because there's in endurance racing, especially watching it live, there comes a lot of waiting around for something to happen, especially in the later stages when everything settles down. And seeing a side-by-side battle for the entire endurance race is actually pretty rare. Most of the passing happens in the stops. But we seem to be up for a pretty exciting start. We're trying something a bit new today. So a while back, Race Room, the KW or Sector 3, whoever the Race Room added a safety car, right? That that another player can drive. So we can do. They added that so leagues can do safety car starts and formation laps and whatnot. So that's what we're gonna try out. Each of the drivers have been instructed in driver's briefing to about the safety car start and how it's gonna work. But basically, for simplified, how it's gonna work is that all the 4 classes are gonna break up around 10-20 car lengths away from each other, away from each group, and they're going to do a formation lap. And once the safety car comes into the pits, the leading P1, right now it's going to be Kubovic. The leading car on the restart controls the pace, and whenever it wants to cross the finish line, everyone can start gassing it. Everyone's going to be rolling. It's going to be called a rolling start. So, so that makes up for. It's going to be a relatively cleaner start. No one's going to be stuck standing on the grid. Everyone's going to be rolling already. So no one's going to be running into the back of anyone. Besides, this is an endurance race. It's not going to be won it's not going to be won in the first turn necessarily. Plenty of time to make up places. But that's the point of a rolling start. Is there's not going to be much action in the first corner anyway. Well, unless someone gets a monster reaction time, like Formula 1 reaction time. But you know yourself. So at the end of it, Christian Kubovic is on pole, followed by Motrem in P2. Kostas Disoglu P3 in class and overall. Mikola Volonets takes P1 from in the P2 class ahead of Andy Darnell. Them and Andy were pretty, they're practically equal to each other. Henrik Andreasen, P6 overall, P1 in class. And Ivan Lukic is right behind him for P7 overall, second in class. Here at Kotarchville, third in class, 8th overall. Foster, 9th, 4th. Kulvas was still... He got the fastest time in GT3 practically from start to finish. He just set the time and he just stayed there. Very impressive. Arthur Groh, P3, and after Instantan P2 in GT3. And let's have a look. Huber never improved. Never improved much above P20. Like, he's pretty... I don't think he really practiced too much, as much as everyone else did. But with the other leagues, it's different. You can rock up to any of the leagues without any practice, and you have a chance at doing well. Endurance, throw that out of the window, down the toilet, whatever you want, light it on fire, blow it up with a bomb. It's not going to work anymore. You have to do your homework, crunch some numbers, get your strategy in line, figure out the track knowledge, and that'll practice the pit stop mainly, and that will set you up for a good win. Like I mentioned, this is warm-up. This is the final chance people are going to get practice should they need it. 3 minutes to go in warm-up. I'll be back for the race start. Well, that's warm-up. Finished up for now. So now we've got a long hour and 20 minutes ahead of us. Let's not forget the two to watch for the overall win. Ethan Mottram and Christian Kubovic. Both the number 1 cars, but Kubovic is green and Ethan is going to be in an R18. In a black Audi, basically, is what you're looking for. So this is going to be a formation lap, basically. This is going to be a safety car start. If you missed my explanation during warm-up, then allow me to explain it to you again. There's going to be a safety car driver. Everyone's going to have to maintain distance away from each car. Once the safety car comes in, leader, in this case Christian Kubovic, is going to be, well, Christian's going to be controlling the pace, if you will. Everyone's going to be lined up around his pace, and when he steps on the gas, when he steps on it, he's going to be everyone else will step on it or feel inclined to. Now let's see if everyone else has looked in the driver's briefing and seen that let's see if everyone else has got the memo and actually knows there's a safety car start. So good so far. Everyone read the driver's briefing. That's crazy. First time I've never seen this gone wrong. But anyway, that's going to be everyone's race lined up behind each other. The classes are going to separate now. So P1 are going to be in their own train. P2 is going to be in their own train. GTE, two or three GTEs. I can't tell if that left or is driving a Porsche. But they're going to be in their own bubble, and then the GTEs are just going to be in their own field at the back. So let's not forget to give an honourable mention to our safety car driver for today, Ricardo Costa. He couldn't make it to the race long term. Oh no, Fotis Isoglu spun in the formation lap. That's not very good. Fotis is gonna have to boot it. She wants to get back to the areas in the background. Fotis is going to be alright, I think. But what if he flat spotted his tires? What if he damaged something? And that's another spun car. I didn't see quite who it was, but it was a GT3. Road Racing. It was Timo Reiter, I've gathered, in the Road Racing Porsche, but he's gotten back to his correct spot. Alright, safety car in this lap. Christian Kubovic is controlling the pace, weaving. Alright, it's too wide. And we are underway. Ethan Mottram is taking the outside line. So is Kubovic. Kubovic was thinking about covering it off on the inside, but he wasn't quite close enough for Mottram to be a threat. Mottram's on the outside, Kubovic on the inside. Mottram pulls out. Mottram tucks in right behind Kubovic. They're already pretty close in the race start. Have a check up on the GTEs. Ivan Lukic is chasing Andreasen. They've started racing. GT3 is going to have some moments now. So coming out of the race start, Kubovic had managed to maintain the lead, followed by Mottram in the Audi in P2, 3 tenths back, 4 tenths back. Fotis Isoglu's dropped a few seconds back on the first lap. but he's got all race to figure that gap out. Andy Darnell's managed to take the lead from Mikola Volnets, and Thierry Cotachville maintains third ahead of Andy Foster in fourth, Adrian Hooper in fifth in class, 8th overall, Hendrik Andreasen in 9th. And we have a spinner here. It's a Porsche. It looks like Ivan Lukic. He's back on just fine, no accidents. But that was nearly a close one. And just as I expected, there's going to be a train between Gra, Vega, Lima, Ziska. It's just a straight train. They're going to be making moves in a second. And that's Andy Foster. He's plummeting down the grid. That's 3, 4, maybe 5 positions lost. Remember what I said. It's always faster to lift the rear corner and not push, rather than to spin and lose it all. Well, that's another thing. Ethan Mottram has passed Christian Kubovic for the lead. Mottram's building up a gap between him and Kubovic. 2 seconds now. What's happened to Kubovic? I can't see it on my race monitor. It's a different one to yours, but it's very interesting. Kubovic is going to be outside of slipstreaming range now along the straight, so I better make that gap up really quickly. Poor Lefter Sintan, the Greek driver. He's not doing very well at all. He hasn't kept us on the road. Luis Lima, P14 overall. So let's have a look at how Ethan Mottram is doing. In the Audi, he's in P1 at the minute. 1.1 and a bit seconds has turned into 2 seconds. So Mottram's going to be... He is very good at keeping it consistent in my experience. I've raced him, he's a good driver. I've no doubts he'll be able to pull this off. Aku Vlad versus Timo Reiter in GT3. Timo Reiter is on the outside. Behind him is the number 6, Bentley, with Bartman. A little bit of contact. Bartman's on the outside and he doesn't go for the move. And that's how Zisoglu spun. He's not in the gravel trap, but it's proving that these P1 cars are a bit harder to drive than some have anticipated. Timo Reiter's lost places, but he's fighting to get them back. Bartman in the Bentley GT3 was passed to both of them. Mottram built up a 2.2 and a bit gap between him and Kubovic, and that looks like where it stays for now. LMP2, Volnets versus Andy Darnell. We've got another spinner. That's Andy Foster again. He's dropping more places down below P20. That must suck for Andy Foster. He should be up there. He should be up there in P6, fighting for the podium positions in P2. He's thinking, but ultimately he might not have what it takes to be an endurance racer. So 1 hour 10 minutes left on the clock. Lap 5. Ethan Mottram still in the lead. Kubovic 2 seconds behind. Andy Darnell is 2 seconds behind the Kubovic. Volnets is 3 seconds off of Darnell. So we've got seeing a few big gaps forming. The third P1, Photosysicglue, and the Mistral P1 is pretty far behind. He's in P6 overall. No matter where Photos finishes, is going to get a podium though, because there's only like three P1s in this competition, like as of now. Dirk Pfeiffer in P14 overall. Fifth in class, unless my maths wrong. But yeah, the number 6 Bentley is doing pretty well. The Bentleys were having trouble joining the server a bit earlier, but now they're back. The 99 of Vic Vega is chasing down the Dave Ziska's BMW. Two BMWs fighting at it for position. Vic Vega and Dave Ziska fighting for position. P12 namely, overall. And if they trip over each other, Pfeiffer and the Bentley is going to be able to pick up the pieces. And that's one of the GTEs I saw spin. Or a Porsche. And for a split second I saw in my viewing window like one of the 911s had made a mistake spinning. Neither of the GTEs seem to be losing time though. Bit of a dilemma. What's happened? Vic Vega's passed Dave Ziska for P12. Ziska's dropping back massively to Pfeiffer. And now for the lead of the GT3 category. Arthur Grau versus the Mercedes of David Koulas. 33 versus the 14. Less than a second separate those GTs. That Mercedes just seems to be getting a little bit better traction on the rear wheels over that BMW. Not sure. Just a little bit more wheel spin getting them out of the corner. Namely the hairpins. That's where he's getting the most time I've seen. And what's happened? I just realised. Mottram's out. With a DNF. That's very unfortunate. He was a contender to win today. But unfortunately, our best distress just maybe just gets to the best of us. That's only 15 minutes into the race. Hour 5 minutes to go, many more to come. Let's see who goes next. But yeah, it's safe to say that Gibovic is gonna have a very good shot at leading if he doesn't, well, you know, put it in the wall, and Photosysicglue can pick up the pieces then. But I was looking forward to that fight. Damn it. Well, I'll be holding a funeral to that one. If I was just to glue in the gravel trap. Yeah, it's a bit of a... Rest in peace. Timo Reiter's in the gravel trap, it looks like. He made a little bit of a mistake. He's P19, but not last. Taking the escape road. So the fight for P13 and GT overall, and then GT3. Mike Bartman, this number 6 Bentley driver, going after the Ferrari. And Reiter's retired. The road racing Porsche. That's the second and last Brother Ops driver in the race to leave. That is very... Well, it's not very... Not even 20 minutes has passed and we still have 2 DNFs. It's a bit worrying. Hang on, that's 3 DNFs. You can see under the 22 on the leaderboard, that's supposed to be a 23. That's Luz Lima, the Brazilian driver in the Audi. He wasn't doing very well, but he DNF'd. So ignore that spare box. It's very unlucky. But anyway, let's have a check-in on P2. So Andy Darnell is leading from the P2 class. He's almost got like around 1.5 seconds on Mikola Volinets, and Volinets has a further second, and Hiro Kitachville in third. Photosysoglu is going to be P2 class. Everything's starting to settle down now. Kitachville is getting a making big time over Volinets. P3 in class, and that's Zisoglu again. That's not very encouraging. Not a very good image for the prototypes. I know it's a hard car to drive, but really? And that's a move. Dave Ziska back in on Pfeiffer, and Pfeiffer takes P11 back. In GT3. So there was a little bit of we've got a little bit of information from the Discord. Ethan Mottram, the race leader for overall in P1. He was in the lead and he disconnected from the race. He got kicked for ping. Could you believe that? That is so disappointing. I feel terrible for him. I thought my internet was bad. Jesus. But anyway, everything's cooling down. We got an hour to go. I'll bring you some information from the Discord that's shooting out as we speak. It's gotta be juicy. So a little bit more information on Timo Reiter. Apparently he is, like maybe you saw that live, but I have a little bit of a different, viewing window to yours. So I don't necessarily see the same stuff live as you do. Just like some to do with the way we stream it. And that's it. 59 minutes left on the clock. We've got 3 DNFs so far. Kubovic in the lead. 20 minutes have passed. Pit window is open for the GT3s and I'd imagine other people as well. Dirk Pfeiffer, the Bentley, is going in. Everyone's confirmed, like, has hit their pit confirmed button. I mean, like, everyone's pit windows open. Winterberg is having a little bit of a spinning moment back in P19. But sooner or later, some of these cars are going to have to pit for fuel because they can't last. They don't last forever out there. Especially the GTs. I did the math. Like, GTs can only do like around 20-21 laps on a full tank in this degradation and fuel consumption rate. So there's like, yeah, like around every 20 laps. But disconnects happen, I suppose. I'm still rocked by that. Disconnects do happen, especially in endurance racing. It's happened on the official Le Mans 24 Hours, like sim racing stuff. Like, reminds me of the scandal that Verstappen got kicked from the Le Mans 24 Hours virtual, but like, it's not supposed to be as serious. Like, this is supposed to be something fun. So Pfeiffer and whatchamacallit. So like, Pfeiffer's in the pits and the pits is very early. I'd imagine like according to my maths, they should be going into every 20 laps of fuel. And while they're at it, they should be in for tires as well. I know they're hard tires, but they don't necessarily last too long. Mike Bartman is fighting Dave Ziska for P10. Number 6 versus the number 3. Bentley versus the BMW. He's around 4/10 behind. Not even a second separate these two. They're going to be trying to get this most solid in laps they can get. Trying the inside, Mike Bartman. Bartman gets the job done as Dave Ziska goes into pit for his fuel and tires. Maybe you can undercut Bartman, making some time. And something I've just noticed, like my viewing window is pretty broken at the minute. Arthur Groh, at one point fighting for P2 in this race, is all the way at the back of the grid. Did you forget to put a maximum fuel tank in his car? Like, surely it's not. It wasn't time to pit. Like when he did. Like, did he pit? I don't remember. I'm missing a lot of stuff, by the way. Like, it doesn't always show me like what's more important on my viewing monitor. But I mean, for the people who disconnect, I suppose there's always a next time. Like, think about it. Next round is going to be even better. Spa, this is going to be happening at Spa. Imagine the prototypes and GT3s at Spa for 1 hour 20 minutes straight. That'd be a very good time to waste. I can't even English right now. Please forgive me. I was trying to say it'd be a nice place to waste my time, but yeah. Like, that's the next round. Spa de Francorchamps. I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's keep our eyes on what's happening here. Photostatical has gone back to P2 in his class. But he's been there for like ages. But you know yourself. Kiri Kotochville is now P1 in the LMP2 class, and Henrik Andreasen in the GTE, mind you, is, well, it's like a GT is going 4th overall against prototypes. It's pretty worrying. They must have been lost in the pits. Like, I think Andy Darnell and Darnell might have pitted early, to be honest. Might have been the tyres. We'll see how strategy plays out. 52 minutes left on the clock. Lap 17 completed by the leader. I can see more and more GTs starting to pit. And Andy Darnell looks like he's in the pits. Just getting us a refuel. He's probably going to be coming into the pits this lap. You can see the driver's name on the right side of the leaderboard. When the pit where it goes green instead of red, I'd imagine they'd be, well. What does it mean? I've forgotten what it means. I've dementia or something. Don't mind me. I think if it's green, it means they're finished their stop. Probably what it means. Well, I mean, Kubovic is in for a stop. So David Collas, the normal GT3, the one on pole, he's led this race from start to finish. Nothing can stop him. Number 14 Mercedes car, if you ever see that on the live stream. He is running away with it. Meanwhile, Dave Ziska, BMW, is chasing down Justin Winterbull and the yellow Ferrari. 15 minutes to go. Let me give you a quick update on what's happening in the Discord. Yeah, just going off of what some of the other people said, there's just people do, like, disconnects do happen. It's just very unlucky that it happened to the race leader. I've never seen that happen before, but it is what it is. I'd imagine it just might be time to cool off and maybe just switch off for the night. There's always next month. That's something I forgot to mention. Every month there's going to be a new endurance race for you to watch. And it'll be a lot easier to, you know, be a lot easier to do so, like in your own time, if I start making those highlights. 4 likes, everyone. And I'll do those highlights. I'll push myself to that. I'll figure out how to do video editing, and I'll figure it out. 4 likes is all I need. And also, if you'd like, if you want to leave timestamps in the comments of like your favorite moments, like I might put those in. Right, 48 minutes to go, and everything seems to have calmed down. Andy Darnell's re-overtaken Bartman from his stop, and is now on the back of Kulas, and then Kretosville has dropped a few places from being in the pits, and Andy Darnell's been making really good ground. He seems like he's going to be a pretty good footing to win here if he keeps it consistent. Andreasen and Lukic haven't pitted yet. Lukic has stayed out for like a very long time. It's in P2 at the minute. GTE. What a car. If you could drive it properly, jeez. So yeah, that's everything for now. 46.5 minutes to go. Lap 20. Now any of the GT3s that haven't pitted yet, that have done their homework, are going to have a look at pitting in now. Alright, here's Kulas. He's just finished his stop. He seems to be one of the first GT3s to stop. He's dropped all the way back, P18. Like everyone else is going to have to stop. It's just a waiting game to see who plays strategy better now. Well, that's endurance racing. These highlights are going to be so good though. It's going to be all the action for without anything waiting for it to happen. It's going to be like bah, bah, bah. Yeah, this is probably gonna, the video's probably gonna be made in like Windows Movie Maker or something like that, but I don't care. No, I was gonna be driving a prototype today, like in this race. I was gonna be up there with Motram and Kubovic and Ziziglu. I just didn't feel like I was up to it today. I was doing all the number crunching, all the practice I needed to compete, but I don't know, I just had a bit of a stressful day today, and I just don't think it's the correct mindset to go racing with. I'll probably wreck someone and maybe crash out of it anyway, so yeah, that's why I'm not here contending for the win right now. Not that I would be actually fast enough to contend with Kubovic. He's lightning quick, super GT champion. But you know yourself. Otherwise there won't be anyone talking to you here. Keeping you company. Henrik Andreasen still needs to pit, but Luka has finished his stop. So Andreasen is going to have to stop eventually. And when Andreasen stops, that's going to put Kratochvil up a place, and Volinets up a place as well. So yeah, it seems that all of our disconnects happened within the first 20 minutes, really. We've only had 3, and they all seem to be, like, 2 of 3 drivers were on Brother Ops stream, like the Brother Ops team. One thing I'll mention as well is if you're ever interested in joining the Brother Ops Racing League, then it's free to do so. Well, free to join anyway. All you need is race room, content for race. Like, lots of it is free, by the way. I mean, not lots, but you get the idea. But anyway, like, we'd love to have you. I'm sure if you look us up on srleagues.com, we could find, like, the Brother Ops... No, not Brother Ops. You can find the community in the like in our league descriptions. Just have a look for PetrolHead SimRacing, like the blue tag, and that's us. Have a look for our Discord community, and you can get joined up from there. We'd love to have you. And we'd love to race you. And it's not limited. The league races we do isn't just like strictly limited to the endurance races that we're doing right now. We can do, like, we're running a DTM 1992 revival, so we're bringing back the 90s touring cars for a weekly championship with starter pack tracks as well. Another neat thing about the league is that when there is paid content, most of it is starter pack content, which is like a really neat bundle that you can buy in R3 or Race Room, namely, where you get like you just get a hamper of cars and tracks that, like, we happen to use here at PetrolHead, so it'll be pretty important to pick that up if you want to race with us. It's not that expensive, certainly not in comparison to iRacing. race room itself is free. So yeah, if you'd like to try your hand at a few laps, software is free. P1 and P2s, like most of those, are free, as well as a bunch of other cars. Some fast, some slow. I think you'll get a kick out of it. It's free. And depending on how much you like it, maybe you could join us for a bit of a spin. Love to have you. That's Adrian Hooper for a drive-through penalty. Not sure for what, but that's it. But yeah, that's nothing much has changed. Like Jimovic has just been, he doesn't need to go full pace because Fotis is far too much behind. He's like a lap down from Jimovic, so that's basically the win guaranteed, unless there's like a disconnect. So, that's P1, P2. That's been a little bit more, that's been far more, like, eventful. So, Andy Darnell, Kratochvil, and Volinets have been, like, jockeying for the lead over the past hour. And right now, it's Andy Darnell in the lead. Likes the stops. Henrik Andreasen still hasn't made his pit stop. When is he going to stop? Like, he can't last much longer. Like, can he? Like, he's running on fumes. I'm sure of it. That's just absurd. A GT in 4th place overall. I'm just in awe. Well, that's everything you need to know. Everything you need to catch up on. 37 minutes to go. So I just figured something out about Henrik Andreasen. So, like, there's a mandatory tire swap. What he must do in the car. Henrik's been in the pits alright, but it's only for fuel, I think. But he needs to get those tires on, like, within the next 35 minutes, or else there's going to be a massive penalty and or disqualification. So that's something he has to watch out for. He could be handing Ivan Lukic, the other GTE, a free win. Oh yeah, and if you ran out of snacks, it wouldn't be too bad of an idea to go and refill. You won't be missing much. Everything's cooled down now, so yeah, you're probably looking at your phone anyway. Well, I wouldn't blame you. I am too. So, 35 minutes to go, ish. And Kubovic, the leading car in the P1, has managed to fathom 28 laps from the rest of the field. And yeah, all the other cars are, well, yeah, just trailing behind him. It's not particularly exciting, but I know. Everything's settled down now. Everything's calm. But still, like, people can, like, it's hard to believe, but sometimes people can, like, the people cook from stress, like, sometimes from somewhere around now. So you really have to keep your eye on the road, or else you'll die. Oh, here's the 7. Winterball has managed to throw his Ferrari into the barrier. Just gonna drop it. Well, I was gonna say he was gonna drop a placer for you. But he managed to get. Next car is Adrian Huber, and he's not that quick. So he's probably gonna keep his position, but he needs to get moving. Justin Winterberg in P19. So it's Winterberg and Arthur Grau. I still don't know what happened to Grau. Like, I was looking at his car just there, and it looks like one of his headlights is knocked out. He might have had a bit of contact, maybe some steering damage. He was fighting for the lead at one point, which is what I find baffling. That's how the cookie crumbles, isn't it? You need to be good driver educated and like the pit strategy and all the numbers. Track itself and the car. But you can't forget a healthy pinch of luck. That you can't control. Both in real life racing and sim racing. So there's not much happening for the last half an hour of the race, so I'm going to break it to you. Like, it's going to get pretty boring from here on out. So if you stay, I'll promise to tell you about some of the karting stories that I've done, that I've had. Because see, I'm a club racing driver, like for like the karting clubs. Like I was a runner-up champion in last year's Summer League, and running for this year's Winter Championship in where I come from. So I may as well chat to you about, well, maybe some of the karting stories I've had over the 2 years I've been in the sport. Well, the last half an hour is swirling down the drain. So, I mean, I have it all written. I can't remember perfectly, but I have it written down somewhere. If you bear with me, I can bring it over. Hello, so everyone. So, yeah, 26 minutes left. There's not much going on. So, instead of just watching, like, solo train cars in their own solo trains just go running around. Like, if you bear with me this long, I may as well just share a little bit of stories with you. Because I'm a racing driver too, in real life. I'm in a car race. I'm in a car club, but whatever. I maintain my own machines. I know what I'm doing. I'm a runner-up champion. But I've got a bunch of stories from the track. It's not as necessarily as simple as arrive, drive, and leave. But there's a lot more to that. But yeah, I'll tell you more about me. Like, you know, my name is Michael Chuse. If you've been listening to me long enough and paying attention for the past few streams. But yeah, maybe this is your first time watching a PetrolHead stream. Welcome in that case. But yeah, I'm a car. Well, I drive go-karts most of the time, like at least once a month, essentially, for the championship race. For championship races at my car club. But yeah, it's a pretty exhilarating sport. It's really fun. Really lucky to have the money to do it, but like sometimes we've got like very wacky technical problems and even wackier solutions to keep the car on the track. Some friends, some froze, but that's just some of the excitement in the paddock. Photos glove goes off again. But that's not very entertaining, is it? But that's I'll tell you about a story about one of my experiences during testing. All right, because one of the times when we're in the car clubs, we have to practice, all right, because we've got our own machines that we maintain ourselves, and we have to do our own setup tweaks, blah blah blah, and like the outdoor karting tracks, they do like testing days, like open days, where you can bring your own machines and run them, like run in your engines, test out new parts, or just practice for an upcoming race. And like just to give a little bit of a insight to like what I actually drive. I drive a Rotax engine kart, so that would be like a generic two-stroke engine, like Senior Max, like basically an 80km/h go-kart that accelerates faster than a 911 Turbo, a new one. But like the power to weight on that thing is absolute nonsensical. It takes a lot to drive it. Gonna have to get a little bit of workout done because over the Easter I've turned into a little bit of a fat boy, so all those Easter eggs, you know, can't resist it. It's so cheap out of season, but you know yourself. So yeah, I was around testing at the championship track I was at, and like I brought my Rotax cars over. It's a CRG chassis, by the way. If you know what that is, you know. But at this time there was I'm trying to think of a way to like get you like into this scenario with me, like just trying to think of how to verbalize my creative writing. I think that's even makes sense. It's like whenever I arrived to that track, it was just the scent of high octane fuel, like just fills the air. Just nothing smells like it. Man, whenever I go testing, there's usually two sets of vehicles. There's going to be like bikes or whatever, like pit bikes. So basically like micro bikes or whatever that go rally around the kart tracks for their championships, and then there's me. And us in the go-karts. So picture this: there's there's nine other carts at the time, and I think I remember like two of them were X30, and the rest of them were like the rest of the go-karts there were like sequential KZ2s, which were like gearbox carts. So they've got gears like brr, brr, brr. They're a lot faster than they're supposed to be a lot faster than the Rotax that I've got. But I remember, I'm not sure if this is supposed to be if they like lift it off to like toy with me a little bit or have a little bit of fun. But I remember like there was like 4 gearbox carts just toying with me. Like what they do is that they'd like on the straights they'd like give me like say like a 1-2 second gap, and I'd go on my hot lap when I'm testing, because like all the go-karts, all the different classes of go-kart, all the different engine types, they just get thrown into the track. It's like, okay, do your testing now. Got 15 minutes before pit bugs come back. Do it. And we all go out, and yeah, as I was saying, they toy with me like a lot. So they gave me like a 3-second lead outside the pits, and I'd go out doing my own thing, expecting them to pass me, and in the corners they're an absolute rocket, because they've got like multiple different gears. They're like fast in the corners and the straights. Usually in my Rotax you can only pick one sprocket to do both of those. So like gearbox carts are very beneficial to that. Like in that sense, staying in the power band and all that. So they'd be catching up to me in the corners, and just as they'd be about to pass me on the straight, they'd brake and just like give me back the lead. Like I wouldn't even say a lead. We weren't even racing for position. It's just testing. We're just like giving each other a run, see what our machines can do. You know, good fun. It's gonna go like last weekend, but it was a total washout where I live. Have my last championship round this weekend. So, you know yourself, wish me luck. So that's one of the stories I had while testing for the testing out my machine for the championship. Let me tell you about another time when 20 minutes left, wasted around 10 minutes of your time. You probably missed like a whole bunch of action, but it's few and far between. I'm sure you don't miss it. Andy Darnell's fighting for P6 overall on the stream at the minute. Andy Darnell's on the outside, trying to make the move work on the inside. Slots in behind of the DMD in front. Yeah, so now Andy Darnell and Voynet, which is the DMD in front, the Bose DMD. They're fighting for P6 overall and P2 in their class, because Yuri Kratochvil in P4 overall is in first place. Like, Kratochvil has nailed it with strategy. Either that or she still needs to come in. Either way, the P2s are giving each other a run, something the P1s couldn't do, even though they're faster machines. So I'm still snapping about that P1. Like, that P1 disconnect. Like, Ethan deserved better, like... I would have betted money that Ethan Mottram would have won. You know, that's endurance racing. So Andy Darnell's continuing to chase down the Ukrainian racer. Not a second separate them. Volinets has been doing a very good job keeping Andy Darnell behind in the Chevy, number 10. There's quite a difference in machinery there, actually, between Andy Darnell and the Mikola Volinet's cars. Like, not just the badge, just like totally different disciplines, actually. Andy Darnell is driving it's driving an older spec DPI, like not DPI, it's a Daytona prototype. And so what that's got over the generic P2 is he's got more top speed, like faster acceleration. Like, it's American, it goes quick in a straight line, but it's also like a brick when it tries to turn. Even despite that wing it's got in the back, it's just like, it just hates turning into corners. Now, on the other hand, what Mikola's got, he's got something like lightweight and nimble around the corners, but not as like that's V6 engine that Mikola's got. Like, it's inferior to the V8 that Andy Darnell's got. So you can see that on the straights and in braking, Andy's gaining up all the time that Mikola Volinets is gaining in the corners. This is a really, really fine balance. Like, Volinets actually seems to be making a decent gap. It used to be 3/10, but now it's turning into 9/10, maybe a second later on. Andy's gonna have to pick up the pace though. It's gonna be outside of slipstream range. 1 second is the magic number. If you're outside of that, you can kiss goodbye to your slipstream train ideas. So you got it, 13 minutes to go. I mean, we've already know who's going to win overall. It's going to be Christian Kubovic. And then Fotis is going to be P2. And then Thierry Cottesville looks like she's going to be leading into the next pit cycle. Henrik Andreasen is also pretty whatchamacallit, like Henrik Andreasen's staying in P4 overall, Andreasen is just so, oh my god, that's David Kulas. He was leading the race at one point. He was P11 now. He's just losing his mind over the stress. Oh, he's already dead. Kulas is a drive-through for some reason. That's very unfair. That's the AI giving the penalties, by the way. Like, nobody would be as inhumane as to give someone who just went into the gravel trap by a penalty. Like, you're just beating a dead horse. And that's Kubovic versus Andy Darnell. P1 versus P2. Oh my goodness me, that's one heck of an accident. I can't imagine that Andy Darnell is going to be very happy with that. Christian Kubovic, the race leader, they just punted Darnell. Racing so close, but they weren't even in his class. It didn't matter. He was lapping him anyway. It's going to be some stewards action after the race, I imagine. Winterberg getting slightly out of form, going into the third sector. We got 10 minutes to go, 11 minutes to go. Things are starting to pick up again. Dave Ziska, he's done very, very well this race. He started towards the back of the grid and announced, after many battles, he's fought his way all the way up to P11. He's improved 3 positions on where he started. JC Camagno in the Ferrari, P8 at the minute, like he's picked up 5 places up on his starting position. And it's just a terrible day for the 14. David Koulas in the Mercedes, once on pole, but now gone to dust. Like, you know what? All the GT3s have been sliding around, like, really badly. So I wonder if their tires are starting to go. But no one's going to want to pit. It's 10 minutes to go. Pitting what makes strategic sense unless it's for fuel. So it might be a little bit of a pit stop conundrum coming back into these. Going back. Well, that's everything for now. Vic Vega, he's retained P9, he's done really well. The M6 is a popular car with this race, but he's easily the best M6 driver. With 9 minutes to go, we've had a total of 5 DNFs. We've got Luis Lama in the Audi R8, Ethan Mottram, who was leading the race when he was disconnected in the R18 P1. Timo Reiser disconnected, I believe. Atsu Vlad in the BMW has disconnected. Either that or he got disqualified, or I don't know. And then Mike Bartman, he wasn't doing too bad. Like, he was the other Bentley driver from GT3. Wasn't doing too bad. No, but he's gone. It's unfortunate. But yeah, I'll tell you another one of my karting stories, but I don't imagine we have enough time to finish it. Like 7.5 minutes to go. So from my understanding, like, Kiri Kotochville has pulled a Galaxy Brain, like, strategy move. Like, somehow she, like, in the pits, she got, like, she made, like, tens of seconds to Mikola Volinets and Andy Darnell, leaving them two to fight behind Henrik Andreasen in a GTE. Like, and that's another thing if you haven't noticed already, like, Andreasen's in a GT. He's just that quick. It's mind-bending. He's an alien. Pfeiffer in P9. In the Bentley, he's not doing too bad. And let me check who's first in class for the GT3. Vic Vega is in first position for GT3. He's doing very, very well. He's outlasting all the fast drivers and keeping his head in the game. And for that, he's going to get a win and landed on this lap. Behind him is the Bentley of Pfeiffer. I hope I'm saying that correctly. I'm not German. But Dirk Pfeiffer. I don't know. Ich lerne Deutsche in der Schule. Ich bin scheiße auf Deutsche. There you go. If you know, you know. Dave Zitta in 3rd place, and David Kulas in P4. Kulas was in like 1st position, like lots of that. But like towards the end, he just like fell off. Just lost the ball. But yeah, it's needless to say that Christian Kubovic has put on a dominant performance in the P1 car, the V12 DMD P21. And you will come to see that number 1 car, that number 1 place being particularly fitting. Yeah, everything's cooled down now. It's real this time, like 4 minutes to go. We have a spinner, that's Camano. Towards the end. All that hard work. I mean, he was a lap down, but still. I'm probably gonna have a shower after this. Like, I know some of these drivers are gonna too. Like, going at it for like an hour and 20 minutes is not an easy feat. Like, you start sweating rain after like 20 minutes. Or at least I do anyway. I'm a fat shit. But, you know yourself, like, it takes a lot of like mental willpower to be able to push through. Like, even if you're not doing well, like if you're like a backmarker GT like Winterberg or Arjun, or even Arthur Grau, who's like fell from the front and lost any chance of winning. Like, they're in it for the fun of it, and they're in it to finish the race. Like, finishing the race is an achievement of themselves within of itself. Like, whether you're got full sim with your Logitech G920 or your direct drive setup, or just chilling out with a controller, still tough stuff, man. 2 minutes to go, thank God. Must have been like 40 minutes worth of like just sitting here. And then like the other 40 just actually good entertainment. This is another reason why I'm making the highlights. I'm not joking about that. Please give me 4 likes so I can actually hold myself to this. I don't believe what I'm seeing. Henrik Andreasen, the GTE. He is such an amazing driver. He's about to get 3rd. Not 3rd in class, 3rd overall. Ahead of a dozen prototypes in a GTE. My mind is blown. I knew Andreasen was a dominant driver, but I can't even words right now. This is absolutely ridiculous. Like someone get him on someone signing him for like an esports team or something. Like he's got potential. He's gold mine right here. Absolute generational prodigy. I tell you, if Henrik decided to drive a P1, this would have turned out very differently. I'll tell you that much. Bit of a story there, and for Mikola Volinets, she's been I don't know. Mikola has been jockeying for the lead, but seems to be settled down for P2 in class ahead of Andy Darnell in P3. It's finally over. Gee, alright. Christian Kubovic wins in Portimao for the first time, and I can do better than this. Christian Kubovic wins in Portimao for the first time in the Endurance Championship. See you back here next month. It's not actually over. It's there's P2s to cross the line, but you get the idea. Here, Kotochville versus Henrik Andreasen. Kotochville manages to pass Henrik Andreasen at the line for 3rd in class, 3rd overall. Andreasen have to settle for 4th, but Andreasen did a very, very good job there. Driver of the day, in my opinion. He managed to do 4th in overall in a GTE. Wow. But yeah, here are your finishing results, basically. Christian Kubovic wins the race and Fotis in 2nd place in class, and that's it for P1. P2, Kiri Kotochville wins in class. Mikola Volinets in 2nd, Andy Darnell 3rd in class. Henrik Andreasen wins in GTE, 4th overall. Ivan Lukic 2nd in class, 7th overall. And Vic Vega wins in GT3. Very well done. And Dirk Pfeiffer in P2. Dave Ziska tops off the GT3 podium places. So, thank you for everyone who stayed up and bared with me. and listen to my tall tales of like my karting story and whatever. I know the action got kind of dry after a while, but I'm trying to keep my best to keep it interesting. 4 likes, remember that. I will push myself to make these highlights if you do. Alright? But anyway, driver of the day, I'd give that to Andreasen, or like, between Andreasen or, like, Ethan Mottram. Like, in my opinion, like, he could have won. He could have, woulda, shoulda. But, like, the internet connection just decided it wasn't his day. There's always Exmouth. Spa's coming up. That's a better track than this. Hey, Portimao. But anyway, that's... I suppose this is a good time to end the stream. Well, I hope you see we hope to see you back here for next.